All right, here's part 2, and I'm on the top of page 59. It's not my fault my dad married her mom. It's not my fault she has to share her room with me every other weekend. She sighed. I've tried to be friends with her, but it's no use. She's a wicked stepsister, like in Cinderella. Miranda looked sad, sad, sad. So I leaped up on my ladder and I hung from it by one paw to cheer her up. She smiled, so I leaped onto my tree and began swinging from branch to branch like that Tarzan guy I saw on TV. That made Miranda laugh. Abby returned with a sour expression on her face. I must have looked that way the day somebody in room 26, I'm still trying to figure out who it was, slipped me a slice of lemon. Mom wants us to fix dinner. She's got to feed the baby. She disappeared as quickly as she appeared. See ya, Humphrey, Miranda whispered. And remember, don't cross the line. After she left, I squinted my eyes, but I couldn't see a line anywhere. All I could see was a sea of pink. So much pink, I felt a little ill. Later that night, while Miranda took her bath, I was alone with Abby. I decided to try and be friendly. Nice room you've got, I squeaked politely. Abby turned toward me and frowned. Were you squeaking at me? She shook her head. This is the last straw. First I have a room all to myself, then Mom marries him, and pretty soon I have a stepsister taking half my room and a new baby brother crying all the time, and nobody knows I exist. I'm supposed to be happy about this whole thing when it wasn't my idea, and now they've moved in a guinea pig? That wasn't a huge insult because guinea pigs are cute and furry like me, only not quite as cute. Anyway, I could see Abby's point. I wasn't happy about Og moving into room 26, and it sure wasn't my idea. The difference was Miranda's actually nice, and Og is, well, Og. Miranda returned, and the two girls settled into their respective beds. Night, Humphrey, Miranda said to me. Neither girl said a word to the other. I had a long night ahead of me, and since I'm nocturnal and do most of my sleeping during the day, I had a lot to think about. What Abby had told me helped me understand why she was so crabby with Miranda. If only I'd studied psychology like Natalie, maybe I could get inside her head and figure out how to make her like Miranda as much as I did. The next morning, Miranda cleaned my cage while Abby lounged on the bed writing in her diary. What are you doing anyway? She asked Miranda. I'm taking out the old bedding, putting in new, changing the water, stuff like that. Abby slammed her diary shut. It doesn't, go to the bathroom in there, does it? Well, sure. Abby leaped off her bed and pointed to the door. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Get it out of my room right now. I figured out a lot about hamsters, but I still don't know why my little potty corner is always such a big deal to them. I'm really quite tidy. Miranda didn't budge. He's on my side of the room. I was all for Miranda. On the other paw, I could see that Abby had been through a lot of changes in a short time. It's not easy getting a new roommate. I learned that the hard way. I also knew what a good friend Miranda can be. Friends help friends. So I figured it was time I did something about it. Plan? I had a plan. A plan using reverse psychology. Since Miranda had no luck getting Abby to like her, my plan would make them not like each other even more, if that was possible. Okay, it didn't make a lot of sense, but when Natalie used reverse psychology, it worked really, really, really well. I had the chance to set my plan in motion a short time later when Mr. Golden announced that the whole family was going to a museum. Do we all have to go? Asked Abby. Yes, all of us. We're a family, said her mom. Abby wrinkled her nose. Even the baby? We'll bring the stroller, said Miranda's dad. He'll like it. Despite her grumbling, Abby joined the rest of the family, and I soon had the whole house to myself. My plan would take speed, strength, courage, and lots of time. It would be well worth it if it worked. Once I was sure they were gone, I opened the lock that doesn't lock and hurried over to Abby's bed. I had been studying it all morning and thought that if I grabbed on, I could climb the bedspread, paw over paw, like a rope. I was huffing and puffing by the time I reached the top, but I made it. Sitting on top of the bedspread was the purple and pink striped pen Abby used to write in her diary. I gave it a big push and rolled it off the bed and onto the floor. After that, I scrambled over to Abby's night table. There I found her pink bracelet with Abby spelled out in purple and white beads. I pushed that onto the floor too. The next part of my mission was fun. I grabbed the edge of the bedspread and slid down, 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 really fast. I was far from finished. Next, I climbed all the way up Miranda's bedspread to get to her gold ring with the pink stone, which I pushed onto the floor, along with a red loopy thing she sometimes used to pull back her hair. You don't expect a guy hamster to know what it's called. I was halfway to my goal, and the hardest part of my plan was yet to come. All morning, I'd had my eye on a big ball of string on the desk. A long piece of the string hung down almost to the floor. I grabbed it and pulled as hard as I could. More and more string unrolled and fell to the floor. I chewed it off and set to work, looping the string around the pen and the bracelet. Then, holding the string in my teeth, I climbed up to Miranda's bedspread. Again. Whew! Mrs. Brisbane says exercise is good for you, but that was work. Once I was on the bed, I tugged on the string, pulling up the pen and the bracelet. Believe me, for a small hamster, those two items are very heavy. I carefully laid them down on Miranda's pillow where she couldn't miss them. As tired as I was, there was no time to rest. I slid down to the floor, looped the string around Miranda's ring and the hair holder, and pulled them up onto Abby's bed, laying them on her pillow. I'm happy to say those two items were not as heavy as the others. When the girls came back, Miranda would find Abby's belonging on her own pillow. Abby would find Miranda's things on her own pillow. I scurried back to my cozy cage and closed the door behind me. I wanted to be safe when the fireworks began. And the quote for this chapter is, "Little friends may prove to be great friends." And that's Aesop, writer of fables. All right, that was chapter 6.